and welcome to Tuesday News Day, your #1 resource for the entire week's worth of VR news. The Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas just occurred, and I showed up and tried out nearly everything VR related, ranging from a consumer level electro simulation vest called the OooSkin to cheap full body tracking for everybody coming soon, a Tesla suit to about 5 different haptic gloves, even a wireless Valve Index setup. This is a peek into the absolute future of virtual reality, all of the most cutting edge tech. So let's just get right into the news. First off, there are a few things at CES that really deserve their own videos, like Shiftall's full body tracker and the Tesla suit and all of these gloves. So I will be making individual videos that focus on some of the more special things that need more details that I tested.
Did he say Tesla suit? Is there a Tesla suit that I am not aware of? What the fuck are on his hands? What the fuck? What is going on with his hands?
But here is a base recap of everything, because there was a lot to see this year and a lot to be excited about. So let's start this one out with the first booth that I went to, HTC. HTC Vive released about 3 new headsets in 2021, the Vive Pro 2, Vive Flow, and Focus 3. The latter likely being the best standalone headset on the market right now, if it didn't cost significantly more than its competition. But
you see how they're making them? You see how they're making them now? Look how fucking low profile they are now. You know? Virtual grip feedback. Holy shit, Starlet. Holy shit. Look at these headsets. I like this. They're condensing them. They're making them low profile. I like it. I like what they're doing. Less bulky.
It didn't cost significantly more than its competition. But HTC did show a couple really cool things at CES this year, starting with a new inside-out tracker with its base functionality being a wrist tracker to use with inside-out tracking. The main usage aiding hand tracking to prevent occlusion, providing a tracking point between the hand and elbow. But it can be used for a variety of things. For example, in my demo, I wasn't actually holding any controllers, instead holding a fire extinguisher that was tracked using these wrist trackers, kind of turning it into a controller or virtual object without needing base stations or any sort of other trackers. And of course, my first reaction was to ask HTC if these could be used for any sort of full body tracking, but of course, since the headset's cameras need to see these trackers for them to work well, that application wouldn't work out so great. These will launch for $129 this year. But HTC did have another really cool demo. I got to try, for the first time, super low latency 5G VR, something that I've been waiting for a long time. I imagine in the future, using some sort of super fast internet connection, you'd be able to buy a VR headset that contains very minimal processing hardware, both making the headset cheaper and lighter, and use that.
Yeah, that's exactly where it's going to go to. I see it going there as well. You know, this is the same dude we watched a clip from where he was hooked up to this $7,000. How much was that unit? It was ridiculous amounts, and it had like a yearly subscription fee that was insane. But he said that the VR was so real that when he went out to touch, because it was augmented reality, that he actually felt like his brain sent signals that he was touching something, that he felt something.
Interconnection to run graphically intensive VR games without ever needing a PC or big hefty battery. And this was the first time that I got to see this in action, testing out an application that was not rendered locally.
Yeah, you're gonna need a VR room. Like Explodo was saying, like you're gonna need a room dedicated to this shit, man. Because if you're just doing it in your living room, you're gonna accidentally hurt somebody.
Instead, being rendered a few miles away and broadcasted through 5G to the headset with latency as low as 11 milliseconds. It was really cool being in a VR application that wasn't being rendered locally and was graphically way better than whatever the XR2 could really run. And I legitimately could not tell the difference latency-wise. I sense a very bright future for VR and 5G cloud computing. Of course, this is mainly for enterprise applications now, but I can imagine it's coming to consumer VR within the next few years. Next up, something a little more fun. Panasonic held a booth with their affiliate company Shiftall to show off 3 really amazing things that I was able to demo.
That's why we're very much looking forward to all the DILS hardware and the Punani hardware that VR has to offer, looking forward into the future. But yes, make sure you're home alone. As Einar said, imagine your kids walking in. That would be trauma for life. Yes. And that is why I'm trying to be as alone as possible.
1, a tiny micro OLED SteamVR compatible inside-out tracked VR headset. 2, a VR noise suppressor / microphone that will make more sense in just a second. And most exciting for me, a full body tracking solution that will be available this year that requires no base station, works with any VR headset, and has hands down the best tracking quality I've seen out of a base station-less full body tracking
How are your
setup.
dance
Let's
moves,
start with the
Starlet?
Megan AX, a small form factor micro OLED VR headset launching later this year. So first of all, it looks really cool, and from my demo at least, is pretty comfortable, but its biggest strengths come from its extremely low weight and high resolution displays at 2560 by 2560 per eye. Also being tracked without base stations using 2 cameras on the headset itself.
Whoop, whoop. Oh yeah, you dancer, huh? You know, I'm imagining this kid's head eventually is going to be like really large on top, very skinny in the middle, and very large on the bottom. He's just going to have like a kind of like an hourglass shaped head after all the years of putting these VR headsets on his head. That's one thing that Explodo was talking about. He's like, I really don't like VR because of all the crap on his head. They're getting better with it. They're making them smaller, more, lower profile. Eventually, I think I'm going to be more worried when you just jack the shit into your head and you don't need anything. Then it gets very Matrix feeling.
In case you're wondering, micro OLED displays are awesome because they have an incredibly high pixel density and they're very small, allowing for smaller form factor headsets like this and have extreme clarity, but suffer from a couple problems. The biggest being brightness levels, and from the few micro OLED devices that I have tried, they tend to be pretty dim, and the Megan AX did not suffer from.
This is like cyborgs, man. This is like Cyborg 0.0. I don't think people understand. Like, it's going to get more insane. Like cybernetics, this is the beginning. This is cybernetics 0.0. It's going to get crazier than this. It's happening now. I love that quote from Elon when he was talking to Rogan, and Rogan's like, hey, do you ever see us becoming like cyborgs? And Elon said, well, it's really happening right now. It's already happened. Like our phones, like we already have to have this device on us at all times. It's kind of hooked to us. And it was a really intelligent comment. Of course, it came from Elon,
From that being one of the brighter micro OLED displays that I have tried. However, the field of view was not impressive, having a noticeably narrow and circular field of view. I did ask about controller options for the Megan A, and they said that they have something to announce in the future, so it's something I'm looking forward to, but for now, we know that this is launching for lower than $900 this year. Next from Shiftall is something pretty weird, but also really useful. This is a noise suppression Bluetooth microphone that straps to your face, blocking out your own voice, so that your voice can only be heard in VR. Now, immediately, I see this being useful for having 2 people in one play space, so
right, who needs to be awake at all?
Or if you're in a place with thin walls or your family's around really close, your voice while going through VR chat doesn't echo through the whole house. It's odd, but really useful, and I'm glad that it's here. But the most exciting thing, which I will be making an entire video on this week to get into all of the details showing off the tracking, is the Haratora X. Easily the best full body tracking solution that I've tried that works with any VR headset, no hassle, and does not require base stations. These will be available to purchase this year for under $300 and are similar to slime trackers in a lot of ways, just without any setup issues. And these have already been on sale for a while in Japan, so they're proven to work and are pretty widely adopted and have a lot of benefits. Probably one of the most exciting VR things that consumers can get their hands on this year that isn't just another headset. Plus, the tracking, like I said, is just so good. Next up is my favorite thing from all of CES, the OooSkin. And yeah, the OooSkin.
Absolutely.
We all know about haptic vests using vibration motors like Haptics and Woodger vests that allow you to feel in VR, but there's a technology out there that is.
I can't wait till we get the Dills model. I think the Dills and the Punani model need to come out as soon as possible.
Entirely different electro stimulation, literally using electricity to stimulate your muscles, skin, and body to feel VR in a totally different way, and it's shockingly good. The only other device out there that uses electro stimulation on the market is the $12,000 plus.
Why would they? You're right. I should have known. I should have known better.
The OO suit to look forward to, launching just later this year for under $500. And let me tell you, this thing is actually insane. The sensations you set up for the OooSkin can range from light electro stimulation to intense pain that make you curl up uncontrollably from a gunshot in the game. Plus, the form factor of the device is super small and light since you don't need a ton of vibration motors, just a few dry electrodes that make contact with your skin. In my demo, I had the OOT
I clicked that just to see what's going on there, Starlet. I don't think I could show that on the stream.
Really intense, affecting the whole body, sending pulses of electricity through my arms.
You guys should see what I'm looking at here.
Or
Wow.
even better, or worse, one of the demos simulating getting stabbed with a knife and driving the knife deeper into my stomach.
Thank you,
it doesn't exactly feel like a knife, not that I know what a knife feels like getting stabbed, but it is really intense. Probably one of the craziest things I've ever felt, but it's not just an electrostimulation suit on its own. It fully works within virtual reality, and that's where the real craziness starts. Being in a game and getting shot from all angles or feeling a jolt of electricity down my arm
starting to get a little bit engaged here
was very intense and probably one of the most immersive things I've ever done in VR.
You know
Even
it, buddy.
if the demo game wasn't particularly amazing, essentially just being a wave shooter, if there's something that will immerse you and incentivize you not to get shot and to pay attention to the game, it's getting a strong shock, almost getting tased to your side and having your arm go limp whenever you mess up. And I did also get to try out the Tesla suit as well, and I'll be comparing the two in a video later showing off my experiences, but according to OO, which the name, we should be expecting this to come to consumers just later this year for a relatively comparable price
boner so much
to other
bigger than my
solutions.
actual boner in reality.
Next up,
So
I think
please
some of the
believe my
enthusiasts will like
VR
this one.
boner.
I am personally a Valve
It's my
Index user.
actual
I love the
boner.
headset and its capabilities, but one thing that does suck a little is it's an entirely wired headset, requiring a tether to do anything in VR. Well, there is a company working on making a really impressive wireless solution for the Valve Index and other high-end VR headsets.
It's gonna be a
using laser beam transmission to allow lossless 4K zero compression video and data transmission with practically zero
Use it as a limbo
latency.
stick.
And this isn't just for the Index. This is for any VR headset, or really any sort of high-speed, high-bandwidth, low-latency data transmission in general. VR in the Index is just one of the great applications to show this off, since wireless VR is already hard to do at these resolutions and frame rates. There's no word on price or ship time, but the technology is proven and really cool. Of course, you still have to set up another base station essentially for it to work, but for super high-quality wireless VR, this is something I'm gonna have to keep my eyes on.
I can run faster.
One thing that dominated CES for this year were the plethora of VR gloves. And this is likely another video that I will make regarding the glove options, since there were so many that do so many different things, but I'll just recap the different companies and their capabilities really quickly. First off, I want to clarify a few terms. Haptics are usually vibrations or sensations that allow you to feel virtual objects, and force feedback is a glove's ability to hold the fingers back so you can feel geometry of virtual objects you're holding. For example, your fingers closing around a door handle and a glove stopping your fingers where the door handle is actually at. So let's start with the Tesla glove. This is the first time I got to see this glove in person.
Is it made by Tesla?
Nuts. Featuring a full exoskeleton with haptic and force feedback,
That's
but there weren't any demos available to try with them, just the opportunity to try them on, which just looking at them is kind of cool on its own. However, in terms of actual demos, next were the Sense gloves, a simpler force feedback glove that hold back the position of 3 fingers and your thumb. In the demo, I built a robot in virtual reality holding a drill, feeling the trigger of the drill as I pressed the trigger of a virtual drill that didn't exist. Really an awesome experience, and it relied on an actual controller for the tracking rather than hand tracking, so it was relatively accurate as well. Next up, the Contact CI gloves, a full hand haptic and force feedback glove that specifically has super accurate fingertip haptics, allowing you to feel really light sensations like flicking the switch in an airplane cockpit and holding back your fingers when gripping an airplane yoke. These by far were the most immersive gloves that I tried and made me feel like I was actually in an airplane cockpit flicking switches and pressing buttons. But all of these options are very expensive and really only enterprise focused, unlike the B Haptics haptic glove. Using Quest 2 hand tracking and small accurate fingertip haptic motors, you can feel things you touch in VR. And these are the ones I could find myself actually using really often. And coincidentally, they're the only ones that are shipping this year to consumers for $300. A fraction of the $5,000.
I just looked it up. The Tesla glove is in no relation to the Tesla suit. Yeah. Okay, so no, it is not made by Tesla. That is, boy, man, I wonder if they're going to get a little bit of a lawsuit on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Mister says, I'm really excited to see how these new advancements in VR tech coupled with the metaverse and all the different versions of the metaverse. I mean, how long until your job interviews are in the yeah, I mean, like with what has happened to us, especially with this coronavirus and everybody's working differently. It's changed the way in which everybody's working. And a lot of corporations are looking at it and say, well, hell, why am I spending so much on a lease for a commercial building when everybody's just working from home anyway, cutting out the expense and letting people work from their homes? I think you're going to see a lot more people using this type of technology. I think Metaverse combined with VR, combined with AR, combined with crypto, combined with, we're seeing it. We're seeing it now. It's the very beginning. And I find it funny that some people can't see that coming. I can see it coming from miles away. And people might not like it. People might have like a hardcore mentality, how all this shit's going to ruin everything. But this shit's coming whether people like it or not. It's coming. And it's just the way it's going to happen. Money's going to flow into this. It's already flowing into this shit. Money is flowing into this shit faster than you can breathe. It's happening around you. And yeah, we might be going into a bear market. And yeah, you might see like all crazy cryptos going down in valuations, but I personally think it's temporary. And you're just in the long term, within the next 5 to 10 years, man, this is the way shit's going to roll. People are going to start getting plugged in. People are going to use this for a means in which to bring in income. And, I say cool. I say cool. I'm fucking down. I'm ready for it. And I'll be covering it. I'll be one of the very few, probably. I'm starting to cover it now. If you haven't noticed it, doing a lot of Star Atlas content, even though people get pissed off that I'm doing it, doing a lot of crypto content, doing a lot of Metaverse content. And people, it is kind of hypey right now. I get it. But it's brand new and people are just trying to wrap their heads around it. A lot of people don't understand it and a lot of people don't take the time to realize what the fuck's going on. And great. That's called opportunity. What I call it.
$1,000 or more asked for these other gloves. Thea and I were able to give real head pats in virtual reality and actually feel it both on our heads through haptic facial interfaces and through our hands through the gloves. These don't offer force feedback, but
Jack, that's funny about Tesla.
Being really cool and super additive for the VR experience, especially playing games like Unplugged. And if you can swing the price, they're pretty awesome. Also, real quick on haptics, newcomer is on the horizon with Skinetics, a new haptic vest with a far more accurate set of vibration haptic motors. One of the most mind-blowing feelings was...
Have any of you tried on these haptic suits yet? I wonder how I wonder how realistic they are in terms of like if you're in a boxing game and you get hit, I wonder how hard it's going to hit you. Can you adjust it? Obviously you got to worry about liability as the company. So I'm sure that they can't give you a reaction that's so hard that you're like, holy shit. But it's pretty cool if you think about it, because people are going to want the most real. As time progresses and the tech gets better and better, people are going to want the most real. Hardcore gamers are going to want the most real feedback from these haptic suits that they can get. And there's going to be like some black market haptic suits. You know what I mean? Are any of us skinny enough to try it on? Says Jay, that's a good question, buddy.
Trying out their rain demo and expecting to feel wet from the raindrops around me, but also moving my body around and having the rain shift from my shoulders to my back to my chest, and I even laid down during the demo. The feeling was so convincing, maybe due to my lack of sleep as well, that I was feeling raindrops even in places where I didn't have the haptic vest on. Wow. Definitely something that I'm interested in looking at again in the future. Wow. But that wasn't all. I got to try out the X-Tall 3, an extremely wide field of view VR headset meant specifically for the absolute most realistic.
Look at this thing on his head. It looks like a satellite dish.
And I gotta say, the 8K resolution on this headset and practically zero distortion 180-degree field of view
boo
was
punches
insane. The widest and clearest VR headset out there by far. Also featuring eye-tracked foveated rendering, mixed reality. All in all,
Hanzo says, I'm excited for it. It's going to bring my adult entertainment to the next level. We were just talking about that, Hanzo.
As well. I think one of the coolest parts of this demo was the mixed reality cockpit flying around Las Vegas with an actual pilot. For the simulation, the virtual world was starting over the actual physical cockpit with the incredible clarity and field of view of the X-Tall 3. At first, I almost couldn't tell where physical reality ended.
Just chilling out with you guys, having a good day.
Started. I had to press the screen and it was really a trippy experience. And I also got to try out Haptic Solutions Microcelia, a smell-o-vision-esque scent module that...
We were talking about Star Citizen in VR about 2 streams ago, man. We put a little video up. Just gets me so excited. In fact, I got to put that tutorial out. I got a guy who did a tutorial on how to hook it up. It's pretty cool.
allowed me to smell things in virtual reality. The demo allowed me to smell an apple, bottle of root beer, cotton candy, all within VR and Neos, and
Wait. There's like smell-o-vision thing? What?
candy, all within VR and Neos, and all in all, it was a really cool demo, and I did bring back a module to experiment with more at home, so I can show you guys more on that later. So, what was the most exciting thing for Solutions Microcelia? A smell-o-vision-esque scent module physical reality ended and the virtual reality simulation started, I had to press the screen
No thanks,
and really
Hanzo.
the experience. And I also got to try out Haptic Solutions Microcelia, a smell-o-vision-esque scent module that allowed me to smell things in virtual reality. The
How the fuck do they do that, man? Did he fly? If you could, man, if you're in the Discord, link that, because that's fascinating. We'll go over that on next stream. Like whether it's like a combination of fucking scents in a box, man, and then it like releases certain scents. Dude, man, what the fuck is going on here?
Demo allowed me to smell an apple, bottle of root beer, cotton candy, all within VR and Neos, and all in all, it was a really cool demo, and I did bring back a module to experiment with more at home, so I can show you guys more on that later. So, what was the most exciting thing for you this CES? Lots of amazing stuff, and I want to talk all about it, and if there's anything here that you want to see more detail on, definitely let me know, because I've got a lot of footage, a lot of demos. And I will be having an extended Tuesday Newsday on Twitch after this video.
That's why I think I'm still seeing those RGB lights repeat. The pattern in my head is still going on, but my brain just kind of filtered it out, but it's still happening. Just my brain kind of like pushed it out of existence, but I'm still seeing it, you know?
Video, since this was more or less just a CES recap, so come on over and check that out if you want to see some more, and join in my Discord server if you want updates on that or want to be a part of a great VR community. Thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, especially my Omegas. You made this entire—
Holy shit, this guy's got like a ton of supporters. I'm gonna vomit. I should have more supporters than this man. No, okay, back to the show. Ego bruised.